Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Courtney, and today I'm going to be going over my 2022 reading goals as well as discussing what I'm planning for 2023 and my goals for this next year. So, to wrap up my 2022 reading goals, I had a couple things on the docket. One was to read 50 books and hopefully get to 100 books. I did both of those. The second thing I wanted to do was to read a couple series that I wanted to finish, which was the Wayfarers series by Becky Chambers. I finished that, as well as the Girls of Fate and Fury with the Girls of Paper and Fire series. I wanted to read Winterkeep for the Graceling Realm series, and I wanted to read Imago and Adulthood Rights for the X and Genesis series by Octavia Butler. And again, I completed all of those books. And actually in my halfway through the year video, I decided to add on a couple books for series, which was Vow of Empire, the third and final book in the Bonds of Brass series, A Prayer for the Crownshy, which was the second and final book in Robot and Monk series. I had Greyworn, which was the third and final book in the Dreamers trilogy, Lachlan's, which is the third and final book in the Foundry Side series, and then Nona the Ninth, which was the third but not final book for the Locked Tomb series, and I read all of those as well. So I did really great with reading and keeping up with series and just reading books that I had wanted to read. Along with that, I also made a TBR video of I think 10 or 15 books that I wanted to read throughout the year, which included Girls of Fate and Fury, Winterkeep, The Galaxy and the Ground Within, Adulthood Rights, Imago, which again I read for those series completions, but it also included Harrow the Ninth, 400 Souls, Yoke, Where the Drowned Girls Go, Fevered Star, and Bloodmark, which I read all of those. So I did a really good job with reading books that I had set out to read, continuing and finishing up series, and I feel like I did a really good job with reading books that were on my TBR. I discussed this in my stats video, but at the beginning of 2022, I had 18 books on my TBR. I decided to get rid of 2 of them, that I was no longer interested in 2 of them, and then I finished 12 of them, which means that of the 18 books I had on my TBR, only 3 are left. I still have some books on my TBR for next year that I bought throughout 2022, but we will discuss that in a minute. So as for my next goal, it was to keep up with my reading stats, which is basically the percentage of queer and BIPOC authors that I'm reading. It's something that holds me accountable and, makes me think and reflect on how I'm reading throughout the year, and it keeps me up to date on the actual numbers that I am reading. I didn't fail these goals completely. I did read about 10 Black authors or 11 Black authors. I read a bunch of queer and LGBT books, and I read a bunch of BIPOC books with authors that originated from a lot of different countries that I haven't read from before, a lot of different ethnicities that I haven't read from before. But my next goal was to read translated works, and this didn't technically fail because I read a lot of manga, which is translated, obviously. There wasn't that robust diversity that I was looking for, and my reading remains relatively American-centered and English-speaking centered, which again is something I would like to change. I'd like to read from authors that are in different countries that are writing in those countries still, and from authors that are not writing from a American experience. I think I was good about this goal at the beginning of 2023, but as my depression hit, it just became less of a focus for me, as did a lot of my goals, and I just wasn't really worried about them anymore. I was just trying to make it through the day kind of thing. But I don't want to use that as an excuse. It is something that I'm going to be reflecting on and thinking about and going forward with. And as for my other reading goal, it was to read more nonfiction. I was hoping for 5. I read 6, so I did okay on that. As for my filming goals, I wanted to learn more and to use my camera more for editing and Instagram photo purposes. I didn't do that. I think I do prefer my regular phone camera for taking Instagram photos, so I didn't really learn a lot of new editing for videos or for Instagram, but I did start a TikTok, and I also started making reels sometimes for my Instagram. And the other thing I wanted to do was to write more scripted content for my YouTube videos, to do more discussions and reviews and just other things that take time to write down to produce a video, and I did do that. Was I more productive this year like one of my goals was? Maybe not, no. But I did try new things, I did learn new skills, and most importantly for my personal goals, I was able to finally get a job, which I'm just very thankful for because I was really worried for a minute. And as for writing this year, yeah, I didn't write a lot this year, but it's fine. I feel like I'm really starting to get back into the swing of things, and I have some deadlines for myself, which I think is really going to be helping in 2023. But I think this year break was definitely needed for myself. I did need that. And a thing I was thinking about halfway through the year in my halfway through the year check-in was the idea of being more self-reflective, thinking about my reading, thinking about who I am and how I portray myself on the internet, how I make videos, what I make videos about, and just me as a person. I feel like I have been doing a lot of that, a lot more of that, but I wanted, again, bring it to my channel, do more videos reflecting on the reader I have been, what I used to read on BookTube, because I have been here for a very long time. And because I'm not getting a lot of views, sometimes this does fall to the wayside and I start thinking, you know, just what the next video is, get the next video out. Don't stop to think about much more than just that. So that is something to think about going forward. But getting into my 2022 videos, I did have a goal of wanting to write more reviews, wanting to do more vlogs, wanting more scripted content, and I was able to do that. I did 6 videos that were themed reading vlogs. I did my Penguin Hotline video, my random number generator vlog, I did a queer sports book vlog, I did a banned books vlog, I did a fall reading vlog, starting a reading vlog series on my channel for the first time, and I did a holiday reading vlog. And I feel like in those videos I was able to do some other things in them too, so they weren't completely boring. Maybe I'm slowly learning how to vlog, maybe. As for my reviews, I did a review on the Locked Tomb series so far. I did a really, I think, interesting compare and contrast video for Foundry Side and Bear and the Nightingale. I did a review for Grey Warren, Iron Widow, Nona the Ninth, and Vow of Empire. And then I also did a lot of reviews on my TikTok, and I did a small compilation of a couple of those videos and put them on my YouTube channel. I'm still contemplating YouTube Shorts, if that's something I want to do, maybe as reviews, but I also don't want the YouTube Shorts on my channel because I think they look ugly. So yeah, very complicated feelings about YouTube Shorts. And as for other videos I did that were scripted, I did a discussion video discussing fantasy novels and why they sometimes fall flat for me. I did a recommendation video where I talked about books with little to no romance, and I did a recommendation video for queer sports books. So maybe not as many of those videos as I would like, but overall I did a lot more scripted videos, a lot more vlogs, and a lot of this content I'm really proud of. I did a lot of stuff that not only made me happy, but just I felt like diversified my channel and got me doing things that I had wanted to do for a really long time. So the year of 2022, it was another weird transition year. It was another weird pandemic, depression, trying to find a job, being a transitional human year. And I don't know if 2023 is going to be any better. I would like it to be, I hope it would be a year of success, a year of change for me, a year of growth for me, but let's be honest, you never know how the year's gonna turn out, how things are gonna go. Let's get into my goals for 2023. So my goal is again to read 50 books at least and get to 100 books. I don't think this is going to be that difficult. I do it most years. And my second goal is to read my TBR. So this is my current TBR pile. There's a lot of big chunky books on here, which is a little scary, but it's okay. So let's just go through them really quickly of what books I have on my TBR and what I'd like to finish this year. So I got Assassin's Quest, which is the third and final book in the Farseer trilogy. I of course want to finish that. I started Villette. I'm about halfway through it and I would like to finish that. I should be able to. I have this anthology of different short stories for the best science fiction and fantasy of 2020. I'd like to read that. I think it would be a good way to get my own writing started just by keeping me in that mind space. And then I have Out There, which is another queer anthology series. I haven't loved the series, but I do want to complete it. Then I have Sea Sparrow, which is the next book in the Graceling Realm trilogy. I have Reign of Gold, which is one of those books that has been on my TBR for a long time. It's also the last book from my high school freshman reading list that I haven't read. I keep all those little reading lists that you get in school, and I've been trying to read them, kind of. Not recently, but it was a goal of mine when I was younger to read those lists, and that's the last one on that particular reading list, so I'd like to read it. The next book I have is Priority of the Orange Tree, which is a chunker, but it is something that I do really, really want to read. And then I have Babel and The Atlas Paradox, which again, kind of chunky fantasies, but they were books that I bought at the end of last year and are really excited about. Overall, that's the really good thing. my TBR isn't extensively long, and it's all books that I'm recently bought and are excited about. The next goal I have is, as always, to finish some series. This goal isn't as large as other years just because I don't know which of my series are going to be coming out with books this year. There are some series that are slated to be trilogies and duologies where I am up to date, but again, it relies on the publishing industry publishing those books this year. So for instance, like Black Sun and Fevered Star, if we get that third and final book this year, that would be great. If not, it's fine. If we get the second and final book in the She Who Became the Sun series, again, that'd be great. But the ones I'm relying on finishing this year are the Kami-sama Kiss series. I recently just got the last book I needed for the entire manga series. It is 25 books. I've read them all before. It's going to be a nice reread throughout the entire year. The only book I'm betting on coming out this year is the fourth and final book in the Locked Tomb series, which is Electo the Night. Again, I'm really hoping this doesn't get pushed back and that it is released. It is going to be released in the later half of the year, but it is the series that I am most anticipating, I think, so that's the one I would like to finish. And as far as series that I'm currently reading that I do have the ability to finish, that would be the Farseer trilogy. Again, I just finished the second book in the series. I already started, but I would like to read the third and final book this year to finish out the trilogy, because the Farseer trilogy and the Earthsea books are the only two series I think that I own that are fully completed. I would like to work on the Earthsea books this year. It wasn't a goal for me last year to read any of them, and I didn't, so I guess I should put them on my list for this year. But really, Kami-sama Kiss and the Farseer trilogy and then Electo the Night, those are the books that I'm really hoping to get read this year. As for my read more goals, I have to read more nonfiction. I'd like to try and read 8 this year. That's 2 more than last year, so it's not too far of a stretch. And then I would like to also read more adult fantasy, and for that number I put 30. Then my final goal for the Read More challenge is to read less audiobooks. So for instance, I'd like to read Priory of the Orange Tree physically and Babel physically, which is a little daunting for me personally, but I think I can do it. As for my channel goals, I again want to do more of these fun types of videos. I have some stuff planned and some stuff that I want to work on, but my main channel goals for this year are going to be my seasonal reading series, which I started in fall. So I'd like to continue and read some winter books as well as do a vlog for spring and summer. And my other goal is to try and do 12 reviews on my channel. I believe I did like 7 last year, so 12 would be 1 every month, which again, if I could do that, that would be great. As for my personal goals, it's mainly writing focused. I have a couple personal deadlines and some stuff that I want to do this year, so we'll see how that goes. I don't want to announce anything for that. But yes, those are kind of my goals for 2023. It's so hard because there's like so many books out there that I want to read, but I also want to read everything that I own. There's so many series I want to start and read, but there also are so many series that I want to finish out that I currently own. I'm hoping this year can not only be productive, but also that I can be really reflective and make the kind of content and read the kind of books that I want to read. And at the end of the day, like, because last year was so hard, I just kind of want to vibe this year, you know? I want to do this stuff and grow as a person, but I also just want to, you know, relax, enjoy life. But we'll see how that goes. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Let me know what your goals are for the year. I would love to know. But thanks again and happy reading.